Marvel fans, get ready to have your minds blown. Today, we're diving into a theory so wild, so meticulously crafted, it might just change how you see the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. What if I told you that Dr. Doom, yes, the Victor Von Doom, has already appeared in the MCU, and we've all missed it? What if Marvel has been planting subtle, genius clues right under our noses, setting up the ultimate multiversal villain for Avengers Secret Wars? Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Let's start with the big questions to hook you in. Why did Avengers Infinity War include a strangely specific shot of a castle that screams Latveria, Dr. Doom's homeland? Was it just moody scenery or something far more sinister? Why does Deadpool and Wolverine feature tech, architecture, and dialogue that feel way too Doom-like to be a coincidence? Are these random details or deliberate breadcrumbs? Is Marvel Studios quietly shifting gears, moving away from Kang as the multiversal threat and setting up Victor Von Doom as the real puppet master? And the biggest question of all, could Dr. Doom already be pulling strings behind the scenes, orchestrating the chaos of the Multiverse Saga? By the end of this video, you'll see these MCU films in a completely new light. We're talking frame-by-frame analysis, comic book connections, and a theory that ties it all together. So grab your popcorn, hit that like button, and let's dive into the biggest clue most fans missed, hiding in plain sight in Avengers Infinity War. Let's set the stage. It's 2018, and Avengers Infinity War is breaking box office records and breaking our hearts. Amid the chaos of Thanos' snap, there's a quiet moment in Scotland where Wanda Maximoff and Vision are hiding out, trying to live their secret romance. But just before the Black Order crashes their date night, we get a shot that's easy to overlook. An overhead view of a misty, rugged landscape in Eastern Europe, with a medieval castle looming in the distance. At first, it feels like typical MCU world building, some atmospheric cinematography to set the mood. But pause that frame and take a closer look. This isn't just any castle. It's old, fortified, with towering spires and stone walls that look like they've withstood centuries of war. It's not sleek like Tony Stark's tech, or vibrant like Wakanda's skyline. It's grim, imposing, and eerily specific. For years, fans have speculated, is this Castle Doom? The iconic stronghold of Victor Von Doom, ruler of the fictional nation of Latveria? Let's break down why this theory holds water. First, the location. In Marvel Comics, Latveria is consistently placed in Eastern Europe, often nestled between Hungary, Serbia, and Romania. The Scotland scene in Infinity War is vague about its exact setting, but the misty mountains and Eastern European aesthetic align perfectly with Latveria's comic book geography. Marvel could have chosen a generic cityscape or a forest, but they went with this: a remote, fortified castle in a region that matches Doom's domain. Coincidence? Marvel doesn't do coincidences. Second, the design. Castle Doom in the comics and animated series is a medieval fortress upgraded with modern tech, a blend of ancient stone and futuristic defenses. The castle in Infinity War has that exact vibe: towering walls, Gothic architecture, and an aura of untouchable power. Compare it to other MCU locations. Asgard's palaces are golden and celestial. Wakanda's structures are vibrant and Afrofuturistic. This castle? It's cold, utilitarian, and screams Doom. Third, the timing. This shot appears right before the Black Order attacks, plunging Wanda and Vision into chaos. In storytelling, visual cues like this are often symbolic. The castle looms as if it's watching the events unfold, a silent observer of the Infinity Saga's turning point. If this is Castle Doom, it suggests Victor was already out there, biding his time while Thanos made his move. Let's talk about Marvel's track record. The MCU is famous for planting Easter eggs that pay off years later. Remember the vibranium reference in Iron Man 2 that foreshadowed Black Panther? Or the kid in the Iron Man mask at the Stark Expo, rumored to be a young Peter Parker? These are deliberate breadcrumbs, and the Infinity War castle fits that pattern. It's subtle enough to pass as scenery, but specific enough to spark theories among eagle-eyed fans. So, what does this mean? If this is Castle Doom, it implies Victor Von Doom was active during the Infinity Saga. Was he studying Thanos' plan? Analyzing the Infinity Stones? Preparing his own multiversal gambit? Doom is a strategist who plays the long game. While the Avengers were scrambling to stop Thanos, Doom could have been in Latveria, watching, scheming, and laying the foundation for his rise. Here's a chilling thought. What if Doom wanted Thanos to succeed? In the comics, Doom often lets chaos unfold to exploit the aftermath. The snap weakened Earth's defenses, fractured its heroes, and destabilized reality itself. For a man like Doom, that's not a crisis. It's an opportunity. Before we move on, let's address the skeptics. Could this just be a random castle? Sure, it's possible. But Marvel's attention to detail makes that unlikely. Every frame in Infinity War was crafted with purpose, from the colors of the Infinity Stones to the placement of characters. A castle this distinct, in a film this pivotal, feels like more than set dressing. It's a clue, one we'll revisit as we dig deeper. To understand why this theory matters, we need to know the man behind the mask, Victor Von Doom. If you think Doom is just a Fantastic Four villain, think again. He's one of Marvel's most iconic, complex, and downright terrifying characters. A genius who rivals Tony Stark, a sorcerer who challenges Doctor Strange, and a ruler who commands loyalty through fear and respect. Let's unpack why Doctor Doom is the perfect villain for the MCU's Multiverse Saga. Victor Von Doom was born in Latveria, a small Eastern European nation. After a tragic childhood, he became obsessed with mastering both science and sorcery, believing he alone could save the world. He's not a cartoonish bad guy twirling a mustache. Doom is driven by a warped sense of duty. He genuinely thinks his rule is humanity's best hope, even if it means crushing anyone who disagrees. This mix of arrogance, intellect, and moral ambiguity makes him far more compelling than a straightforward destroyer like Thanos. Here's why Doom is tailor-made for the Multiverse Saga. In the comics, particularly Secret Wars 2015, Doom doesn't just navigate the multiverse, he dominates it. When universes collide and collapse, Doom seizes control, becoming God Emperor Doom. He creates Battleworld, a patchwork planet stitched together from fragments of dead realities. This isn't a guy who reacts to chaos, he orchestrates it. If the MCU is building toward a multiversal collapse, Doom is the ideal architect. Unlike Thanos, who believed wiping out half of life was merciful, Doom's motives are layered. He's not driven by destruction, but by control. Doom wants to rule, because he believes he's the only one qualified. This makes him unpredictable. He'll ally with heroes if it serves his goals, only to betray them when the time is right. Imagine a villain who can outsmart Reed Richards, charm Captain America, and terrify Loki. That's Doom. The MCU's pivot away from Kang opens the door for Doom. In the comics, Kang and Doom have a storied rivalry. Kang, a time-traveling conqueror, is often linked to Reed Richards, while Doom sees himself as Reed's superior. If Marvel needs a new big bad, Doom can slide into Kang's role seamlessly, either as a replacement or a manipulator using Kang's chaos to his advantage. Thanos was a cosmic warlord with a clear goal: balance the universe. Doom's ambitions are grander. He doesn't want to balance reality, he wants to own it. In Secret Wars, he becomes a literal god, reshaping existence to his will. Thanos needed the Infinity Gauntlet to wield power. Doom, he builds his own power through intellect, magic, and sheer willpower. That's next level dangerous. Doom's versatility is another strength. He can fight on multiple fronts: political, ruling Latveria; scientific, rivaling Stark and Richards; and mystical, battling Strange or Mephisto. This makes him a villain who can challenge every corner of the MCU, from street-level heroes like Spider-Man to cosmic players like the Eternals. Let's not forget his personal stakes. Doom's rivalry with Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four adds emotional weight. Unlike Thanos, who was detached from most of his enemies, Doom's grudges are personal. His hatred for Reed isn't just professional, it's obsessive. When the Fantastic Four join the MCU, this dynamic will be a goldmine for drama. So, why is Doom perfect for the Multiverse Saga? Because he's not just a villain, he's a force of nature. He can manipulate timelines, outwit gods, and rally armies, all while convincing himself he's the hero. If Marvel is planting Doom clues, they're setting up a threat that makes Thanos look like a warm-up act. Now, let's fast forward to 2024 and Deadpool and Wolverine. If you haven't seen it yet, beware. Spoilers ahead. This movie isn't just a buddy comedy or an X-Men/MCU crossover. It's a treasure trove of clues that might confirm Dr. Doom's presence. From architecture to tech to cryptic dialogue, Deadpool and Wolverine is dripping with Doom vibes. Let's break it down. Clue 1. The Latvian-style architecture. One of the film's standout settings is a post-apocalyptic wasteland, where Deadpool and Wolverine face off against multiversal threats. Amid the ruins, we see a towering structure that stops you in your tracks. It's a Gothic fortress with spires, wrought iron, and massive metallic reinforcements. The design is too intricate, too deliberate to be random. At first glance, you might think it's a TVA outpost or a Kang fortress. But zoom in. The symbols etched into the walls aren't TVA runes or futuristic glyphs. They resemble ancient alchemical markings, exactly the kind Doom uses when blending science and sorcery. In the comics, Doom's tech often has a medieval meets futuristic aesthetic, and this tower fits the bill perfectly. Could this be a Doom Watcher tower? In Secret Wars, Doom creates outposts to monitor collapsing realities. This structure, standing tall amid multiversal chaos, feels like a nod to that concept. It's not just a cool set piece, it's a clue that someone is watching, analyzing, and possibly controlling the multiverse's unraveling. Clue 2. The mysterious tech. There's a moment in the film where Deadpool picks up a gauntlet-like device in the wasteland. It's bulky, metallic, and covered in archaic designs, nothing like the sleek TVA tech or Stark's polished Iron Man suits. Fans have compared it to Doom's armor, specifically the multiverse hopping gear he wears in Secret Wars. Let's dissect this. The gauntlet isn't just a prop, it's a plot device. It doesn't function like TVA pruning tech, which erases timelines, or Stark tech, which is all about precision. Instead, it feels like a prototype, something built to manipulate realities rather than destroy them. In the comics, Doom's armor is a Swiss Army knife of science and magic, capable of bending time, space, and even mystic forces. This gauntlet could be a relic of Doom's experiments, left behind as a test or a trap. Here's a wild thought. What if Doom is intentionally leaving these devices across the multiverse? In Secret Wars, he scatters tech to destabilize realities, testing heroes and villains alike. Deadpool and Wolverine stumbling across this gauntlet might not be random. It could be Doom's way of studying them, seeing how they handle multiversal power. Clue 3. The cryptic dialogue. The dialogue in Deadpool and Wolverine is packed with fourth wall breaking humor, but there's one line that hits like a freight train. A rogue TVA agent, discussing multiversal anomalies, says, "Some worlds fell not because of Kang, but because of something worse. Something that doesn't prune timelines, it consumes them." Let that sink in. This isn't vague villain talk. It's a direct reference to Doom's playbook. In Secret Wars, Doom doesn't destroy universes like Kang or the TVA. He absorbs them, stitching their fragments into Battleworld, a reality he rules as a god. This line isn't just foreshadowing, it's a neon sign pointing to Victor Von Doom. Deadpool, true to form, follows it up with a quip. Sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, or someone with a god complex. The joke lands, but it's also a wink at the audience. Doom's god complex is legendary. He doesn't just want power, he wants worship. This dialogue is Marvel saying, "Pay attention, the real threat is coming." Clue 4. The multiversal context. Deadpool and Wolverine is all about broken timelines, rogue variants, and the TVA's struggle to maintain order. But the film also hints at a larger force at play. The wasteland isn't just a random void, it's a graveyard of collapsed realities. Who benefits from that kind of chaos? Not Kang, who thrives on controlling time. Not the TVA, who wants stability. But Doom, he's the guy who sees a multiversal collapse and thinks, "Perfect, I'll rebuild it my way." The film's post-apocalyptic aesthetic also mirrors Battleworld's patchwork landscapes. In Secret Wars, Doom's world is a collage of different realities, each with its own rules and ruins. The settings in Deadpool and Wolverine feel like a proto-Battleworld, a testing ground for Doom's grand plan. Let's tie it together. The Gothic Tower, the Doom-like gauntlet, the dialogue about a timeline-consuming threat. These aren't isolated clues. They're pieces of a puzzle that points to Victor Von Doom as the shadow behind the multiverse's chaos. Marvel isn't throwing these details in for fun. They're building towards something massive, and Deadpool and Wolverine is the loudest signal yet. If you're still skeptical, let's talk about how Marvel operates. The MCU doesn't introduce major players with a splashy debut. Instead, they plant seeds, subtle hints that bloom into game-changing reveals years later. This soft introduction strategy is Marvel's signature move, and the Doom clues fit it perfectly. Let's look at the evidence. Wakanda in Iron Man 2. Years before Black Panther hit theaters, Iron Man 2 showed a map with a blinking dot in Africa, hinting at Wakanda's vibranium. It was a throwaway moment that became a cornerstone of the MCU. Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. The post-credit scene introduced Adam's cocoon, teasing his role in Vol. 3. Marvel waited 6 years to pay it off, but the setup was there. Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Before Kang's full debut in Loki, the Quantum Realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp hinted at time manipulation, laying groundwork for his arrival. This is how Marvel works. They drop Easter eggs that seem insignificant, only to reveal their importance later. The Latverian castle in Infinity War and the Doom-like clues in Deadpool and Wolverine follow this exact pattern. They're not random, they're deliberate setups for a villain too big to introduce without build-up. Why does Marvel do this? For one, it rewards dedicated fans. Spotting these clues feels like cracking a code, sparking theories and discussions that keep the MCU alive between releases. Second, it builds anticipation. When Doom finally appears, fans will rewatch Infinity War and Deadpool and Wolverine, gasping at how obvious the hints were. Let's apply this to Doom. The Infinity War castle is the first breadcrumb, establishing Latveria's presence in the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine ramps it up with tech, architecture, and dialogue that scream Doom. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a slow burn introduction, preparing us for a reveal that could redefine the Multiverse Saga. Skeptics might argue that Marvel wouldn't tease Doom this early, especially with Kang as the announced villain. But the Kang situation has shifted. With real-world controversies and narrative pivots, Marvel may be repositioning Doom as the true threat. The soft introduction strategy lets them lay the groundwork now. So when Doom steps into the spotlight, it feels earned, not rushed. Think about it. A villain like Doom can't just show up in a post-credit scene. He's too big, too mythic. Marvel needs time to establish his presence, his power, and his stakes. The clues we're seeing are their way of saying, Doom is coming. Start paying attention. Now, let's take this theory to the next level. By the end of Loki Season 2, the TVA is in shambles. Kang variants are running wild. Timelines are spiraling, and the multiverse is on the brink of collapse. The official story? It's Kang's fault. But what if that's a red herring? What if someone smarter, more calculating, and more ambitious is pulling the strings? Enter Victor Von Doom. In the comics, Doom thrives on exploiting chaos. When systems fail, whether it's a government, a reality, or the multiverse itself, Doom steps in to impose his order. The TVA's collapse is the perfect opportunity for a man like him. Let's break down how Doom could be orchestrating this. First, the TVA's purpose is to maintain a sacred timeline, pruning branches to prevent multiversal chaos. But in Loki Season 2, we see that system unravel as Kang's variants destabilize everything. This feels like a Kang problem, but it's also a Doom opportunity. In Secret Wars, Doom doesn't just react to multiversal collapse, he engineers it, weakening realities so he can absorb them. What if the TVA's failure isn't accidental? What if Doom is subtly manipulating events, letting Kang take the fall while he positions himself as the solution? Second, Doom's skill set makes him the ideal TVA saboteur. He's a master of time travel, multiversal navigation, and strategic deception. In the comics, he's infiltrated and dismantled organizations far more secure than the TVA. Imagine Doom hacking into the TVA's systems, planting false data, or even posing as a Kang variant to sow discord. The TVA wouldn't see him coming, because they're too focused on Kang. Third, there's a hint in Deadpool and Wolverine that supports this. The rogue TVA agent's line about something worse, consuming timelines, suggests a threat beyond Kang's scope. Kang prunes timelines to maintain control. Doom, he consumes them, reshaping realities to fit his vision. If Doom is behind the TVA's collapse, he's not just breaking the system, he's setting the stage to rebuild it in his image. Picture this: a Doom-led TVA. Instead of pruning timelines for balance, it curates them for Doom's battleworld, a reality where he's God. The TVA's bureaucracy, its tech, its agents, all could be repurposed to serve Victor's agenda. This would be a chilling twist, turning a flawed but well-meaning organization into a tool of tyranny. There's even a rumor, unconfirmed but juicy, that Deadpool and Wolverine's post-credit scene hints at a new temporal authority forming, one not tied to Kang. If true, this could be Marvel's way of introducing Doom's influence. A new TVA under his control would be the ultimate power grab, giving him the keys to the multiverse. Skeptics might say there's no direct evidence of Doom in the TVA's collapse. Fair point, but Marvel loves misdirection. The Kang focus could be a smokescreen, distracting us from the real threat. Doom doesn't announce his plans, he executes them in the shadows. The clues in Infinity War and Deadpool and Wolverine suggest he's already active, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. We know Avengers Secret Wars is coming, and it's poised to be the MCU's biggest event yet. But which Secret Wars are we getting? The 1984 version, with its cosmic battle royale? Or the 2015 version, where the multiverse collapses and Doctor Doom reigns as God Emperor? Based on the clues we've uncovered, the 2015 storyline feels like the blueprint, and it's a perfect fit for our Doom theory. Let's map out how this could play out. The MCU is already teetering on the edge. Loki. Season 2 unleashed Kang variants. Spider-Man No Way Home cracked open the multiverse, and Deadpool and Wolverine showed us a wasteland of broken realities. This is the exact scenario that leads to Secret Wars 2015. In the comics, universes collide in incursions, destroying each other until nothing's left. Doom steps in, salvaging fragments to create Battleworld. The MCU's current trajectory, collapsing timelines, rogue variants, TVA failure, mirrors this setup. If Doom is behind the TVA's collapse, he's not just watching the chaos, he's fueling it. In Secret Wars, Doom uses the Beyonder's power to become a god. In the MCU, he could exploit the TVA's tech, Kang's time travel devices, or even the Infinity Stones, which are still floating around in variant timelines. The gauntlet in Deadpool and Wolverine and the Latverian castle in Infinity War suggest he's already building his arsenal. By the time Secret Wars hits, Doom could be ready to absorb the multiverse, creating a battleworld where he's untouchable. Secret Wars 2015 pits heroes from different realities against each other, manipulated by Doom's rules. Imagine Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and new Avengers like Sam Wilson's Captain America battling across Battleworld. The emotional core would be Doom versus Reed Richards, a rivalry that's been teased since the Fantastic Four's MCU casting was announced. Reed's intellect and optimism clashing with Doom's arrogance and cynicism would be cinematic gold. Unlike Thanos, who was defeated by teamwork and sacrifice, Doom is a harder nut to crack. He's not just powerful, he's personal. He knows the heroes' weaknesses, exploits their doubts, and turns allies against each other. In Secret Wars, even Doctor Strange and Black Panther struggle to outmaneuver him. The MCU's Secret Wars could end with Doom as a godlike tyrant, forcing the heroes to unite across realities in a way we've never seen. This timeline aligns with the clues we've found. The Infinity War castle establishes Doom's presence during the Infinity Saga. Deadpool and Wolverine's tech, architecture, and dialogue hint at his multiversal schemes. The TVA's collapse sets the stage for Doom to seize control. If Marvel is adapting Secret Wars 2015, these aren't just Easter eggs, they're warning signs. Doom isn't coming. He's here, and he's been planning this for years. The Multiverse Saga isn't about Kang's chaos or Loki's redemption. It's about Victor Von Doom's rise to godhood. What makes this exciting is its scale. Thanos was a universal threat, but Doom is multiversal. He doesn't just destroy, he reshapes. Secret Wars could be the MCU's chance to go bigger than Endgame, with battles across realities, cameos from every corner of Marvel, and a villain who feels invincible. If you loved this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more MCU breakdowns, theories, and secrets. The multiverse is unraveling, and we're here to decode every clue. Until next time, stay sharp and keep an eye out for Doom, because he's definitely watching you.